In order to create an identity level change, we have to first focus on changing the self or the self-image. And in this video, we're gonna learn the principles of self-image, self-worth, and self-love in order to create some lasting changes in our behaviors and actions in our lives. So let's begin. Welcome back to another video. My name is Rab and I help people empower themselves. And in this video, I'm going to talk about these three concepts of self, which is self-image, self-worth, and self-love, and how they are all intertwined and how we can use these concepts to create some really big changes in our behaviors and attitudes so we can achieve all kinds of success in our lives. So let's start talking about what self-image is and why it is important. Self-image is how we view our personalities, whether it be from our own eyes or from someone else's. Do you think that you are a good person or a bad person? Or do you think you are bad at your job or good at your job? So it all depends on how we view ourselves, and this is the concept of self-image. Now, self-worth is our level of deservedness. How much do you think you deserve of anything such as success, money, or love in your life? Let's say that you think that you don't deserve any money in your life, but all of a sudden you win this lottery ticket. But even though you have won this lottery ticket, you feel like you're not worthy of having this money, so you keep spending it, and get to this point where you can't even hold the rest of the money. You get back to the same point from where you started, being that broke person, because you feel like you don't deserve any money in your life. So now let's move on to the concept of self-love. Self-love is one of the things that I really try to focus on most of my videos these days, because if you don't have enough self-love in your life, you keep hating yourself. And no matter what you do, no matter what kind of success you get in your life, you're gonna keep criticizing yourself no matter what. This concept of self-love is hard for people to practice because they feel like they're being narcissists. In our society, when we see somebody who is placing too much focus on themselves and trying to get their own way in life, we think that they're narcissists, right? But self-love is completely opposite of that. When you start practicing self-love, you're gonna start accepting yourself more and you start doing greater things in life. You start becoming more compassionate, you start giving other people love, and you start accepting other people more. And it's often hard for men to practice self-love because they've grown up hearing phrases like big boys don't cry. And I think that's really hard for men because they're not open to sharing their own emotions and feelings. So let's rewind a little bit to talk about self-image again. There's this book called Psycho Cybernatics, which was written by Maxwell Maltz, who is a plastic surgeon. And the whole premise of the book is that he used to get a lot of clients who would come to get surgery, but even though he would fix their faces or their body parts, some people would leave really happy, but there were some people who would never be satisfied no matter how much modifications they could get on their faces and start looking beautiful. That was because their own self-image was so bad that no matter how much they were altering their physical appearances, they still couldn't feel enough. That's why it's very important for us to reflect on what kind of self-image do we hold in our minds. So when we start feeling worthy, our self-image starts to change gradually. For example, before you have thought that you're not good at attracting relationships because you don't have that kind of persona or self-image. Now, when you start feeling more worthy of love, you start to change your self-image slowly. So you're naturally gonna go into situations where you can find a significant other or more nurturing relationships. So no matter how much worthy you might feel for a second, if you don't practice self-love or if you don't love yourself, you're gonna start criticizing yourself again, and your level of worthiness is gonna go down the drain again. Until and unless you start to accept yourself and give yourself some love, it's gonna be hard for you to change your self-worth, which results to no change in your identity or your self-image. So it kind of goes off in a circle, right? If you don't have a good self-image, you don't feel worthy enough to love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, you might not have that kind of good image, so you don't feel worthy at all. But we can fix this by applying different techniques. You can practice like meditations of self-love, or you can just start affirming yourself like, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Try to do this in front of the mirror so you can start actually acknowledging this to yourself. And it might be hard for you to first try this out, because first time when I did this, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this. It feels very uncomfortable. Mostly, I don't even think this is gonna work, right? But after a while, once I started pushing myself to do this, it became very easy for me to kind of like sit in the mirror and start observing myself. Although this might be hard for most of us, what it starts to do is it starts to give us more courage and freedom so we can change other aspects of our life. Another thing that I can highly recommend is practicing the phrase I am enough. When you start practicing this, you start feeling more worthiness in your own life. And I first heard this from Marisa TED Talk. You can go and watch it. It's a beautiful talk. I think everybody should go and watch it. And once you start doing this, you're gonna start feeling more worthy and deserving of all the great things in life. And this is a very great way to practice self-love and self-worthiness, because the basis of most therapies start by the problem of people not feeling enough in the first place. So once you start practicing this affirmation of I am enough, what starts to happen is you're still gonna start feeling more enough, and most of your problems, whether it be like anxiety and even depression sometimes, I'm not gonna claim like really hugely, a lot of these problems are just gonna automatically dissolve away. And the key to practicing these affirmations or these phrases is by repeating yourself but feeling these emotions at the same time. So what would you feel if you were totally worthy? You'd probably feel like joyful, happy, compassionate, right? So try to feel these emotions in your body. Otherwise, if you keep repeating yourself, although your subconscious mind might observe it, it's gonna be a really long time until it actually starts believing it. But if you start feeling these emotions such as gratitude, joy, while practicing these affirmations, it's gonna be really easy for your mind to observe it, and it's gonna start projecting it out into the world, where you actually start behaving in such a way that you feel now that you are worthy. You feel that you are deserving of all great things in life. And after doing these enough times, your self-image is gonna change. If you think that it's not a comfortable thing for you to do, just reach out to me and I'm gonna try to make it more easier for you and try to make you believe that this is a solution to a lot of different problems in our life. Because if we don't accept ourselves, we can't accept other people fully. And in order to create a harmonious surrounding around us, it's really important for us to practice self-love. And with that being said, guys, let's end this video right here. If you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so right now, because there are always awesome contents rolling in. So that being said, we'll see you soon. Goodbye and namaste.